म्यूट पे यार फोन साउंड रखो, फोन पे भी देखते रहो।
Done.
इट्स टेक अ मिनट। या
You have cappuccino or what?
नो नो,
Before
दिस
waking
इज
up.
प्रोटीन शेक।
Got it, got it.
All right, so we are live on public. Let me just give you the link. 1 second.
मेरे को मिल गया।
मिल गया ना?
हाँ, I'll drop in channel में।
Hmm. I don't think they have an option to change the thumbnail or anything.
Yeah.
Do we have anything to put as a thumbnail here?
अपना क्रिएटिव यूज कर लेते हैं ना, थंबनेल वाला।
Hmm?
अपना क्रिएटिव यूज कर लेते हैं थंबनेल वाला। दे रहा हूँ मैं।
दे दो भाई। I can see 61 here.
यस।
क्रिएटिव भेज दोगे बता देना।
भेज दे भेज दे भेज दे भेज दे।
Done. It should show up now.
स्टार्ट किया जाए।
Alright guys, what's the plan? I have put a Instagram story as well, तो वो भी हो गया। WhatsApp ग्रुप्स पे क्या सीन है अभिषेक?
डन।
लाइव स्ट्रीम डाल दिया?
यस। लाइव स्ट्रीम तब डालूंगा जब एक बार यहाँ पर 90 हो जाएगा।
अच्छा, अभी तुम जूम लिंक डाल रहे हो?
हाँ, अभी जूम लिंक ही डाला है ना। अभी यहाँ पर 70 ही हुआ है ना। वाई टू यूज दैट अंटिल अनलेस दैट इज लाइक ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज टू 90।
Got it. एंड यूट्यूब के भी स्टैट्स देखते रहो, वहाँ पे Q&A का वो सब का भी कुछ सीन होगा। आई गेस देयर आर 3 people हियर। Can you comment on the live stream on YouTube really quickly? As in on the live chat, not below the video.
Yeah.
I can see something here. Mm, okay, कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. ठीक है. When are we planning to start? Meeting is almost full बोल रहा है तो.
कर लेते हैं.
Let's
Cool.
roll.
All the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super excited.
Hello guys. Hi. Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Abhishek just manage the mute and everything, huh?
Yeah.
Hello. Hi Akhilesh. Ratnadeep, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning. Nishata, hello. Great. Awesome. Yes,
Hi,
Abdul.
good morning.
Morning.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello,
Good morning,
Shashank.
sir. Good morning.
Jayendra.
Hey, hi Rishi.
Morning.
Morning.
Sir,
Awesome.
Rishi, let's give that message that as soon as we hit 90 in the session, like 90 attendees are there in the session, we are also doing a YouTube live stream. So I'll drop the link for the stream in the WhatsApp community itself. So you can, if somebody drops off, तो वहाँ से YouTube live stream join कर सकते हैं.
Yes. So you'll not be able to join this once this is full. In case you drop off, just use the YouTube live link. Okay. Cool. Awesome. I think we are approaching that number.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll drop that.
Awesome.
Hi, sir.
Hello. Great. So guys, we will stay on mute because this is going to be like some information in the beginning, and then we will open up as required. This is going to be a very, very interesting session. We will discuss some high level things so that again, like if you have started e-commerce, तो आप उसको आगे बढ़ा सकते हो. If you are just in the beginning of the journey, this will be useful. There will be a segment wherein we will have a session directly with Helium10. So somebody from Helium10 will be joining. You might have seen that in the marketing. So that will be very useful as well. So make sure that you pay attention, learn whatever you can. And in the Q&A segment, we can take a lot of questions. Okay. We will not keep this very long. So it will be a limited time session today. Okay. Awesome. If everybody can hear me clearly, just react with a thumbs up. You'll have a react option here. Uh, yes, react with a thumbs up, please. Amazing, nice. And we will be using the chat box as well, just so that it's smooth and clear for everybody. So I can see almost 80 people here. तो भाई chat box में एक बार quickly बता दो. Let's just write good morning right now. GM. Just write GM in the chat box. I want to see if this is working. All right, perfect. Yashna, show up. Nice. Great. We have a few polls as well that we will be starting with. Give me a second. So guys, आपके screen में ना polls भी दिखेंगे. When there is a poll on the screen, you have to just answer it by selecting an option. So I'll just run one of them because we have enough people here. Please tell me if you can see it on the screen in 1 second. Yes. Read the question and answer, please. पढ़ के आंसर करना है. How many of you have attended base camp is the question on the poll. So you'll see it on the screen. Just reply with yes or no. All right, Ajit. Abhishek, you have the option to mute everybody, right? Just can you do it once?
I've already done that.
No, I don't think so. New people are not getting muted. All right, cool. So I can see सबने जवाब दे दिया guys poll का.
Yes.
Great. Cool. So I can see about 60% of you, 65% of you attended Basecamp, which is great. And some 30% of you have not attended Basecamp. तो Basecamp के बारे में मैं थोड़ा सा आगे बता दूंगा in just 2 minutes so that people who have not attended Basecamp can learn about it. Okay. Now let's dive into my screen. Let me just start sharing my screen and let's begin the journey of the day. 1 second. Great. Screen दिख रही है guys? Thumbs up दिखा दो हाथ से ही. Screen दिख रही है? Amazing. Solid. Sound is clear? Yeah? Perfect. So quickly just highlighting कि आज का जो वेबिनार हो रहा है इसमें हम क्या कवर करने वाले हैं, ठीक है? We will be addressing some of the things will be like you might be aware about some of these things because you've done Basecamp. Therefore, जो Helium10 वाला session है, that will be very critical. So make sure that that part is where you're super alert, right? Because that will be run by Shivali from Helium10 directly, right? So we are going to be looking at some very basic business models that are there in e-commerce, advantages, disadvantages. What is the advantage of building a brand of yourself? There are a few people here who are already working with us, so हम already उसी journey में हैं. So that is not news for you guys. Product research framework is again something that we'll be looking at once again as a refresher so that we are always clear. Even if you are already working with B4 Commerce or या फिर आपने Basecamp attend किया है, it's always good to sort of keep everything at the forefront of your mind. We'll be just touching upon some myths that you should definitely be, aware about. There are a lot of myths. कुछ नया है information मेरे पास तो मैं live भी बताऊंगा regarding tariff and trade war and all of that is happening right now. Even yesterday I hosted an event which was my very first event with a college. Almost 100 plus students were there. Some of them had experienced e-commerce, so they were asking these questions as well. So we'll address that. We'll be discussing what's the right way to sort of survive once you are about to go live with a business. What are the 5 launch frameworks that you need to follow or phases that you need to cross so that you do this in a very structured manner. एग्जीक्यूशन चेकलिस्ट क्या होनी चाहिए लॉन्च के टाइम या लॉन्च के बाद एंड उसके बाद हमारा जो सेशन होगा वो शिवाली के साथ होगा एंड देन वी विल ब्रेक इनटू Q&A. Okay, it is 8:15 right now and 9:15 we'll be wrapping this up before 10. Okay. So until 10 be seated. Shall we begin? Please type yes in the chat box if everybody heard everything I said. Perfect. Amazing. Great. Let me see. Okay, there's another poll on the screen. Quickly address it. पोल जितना जल्दी एड्रेस कर दोगे उतना जल्दी हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. 20-30 सेकेंड्स हम हर पोल को देने वाले हैं. You have to respond to the question, what do you currently do? 4 ऑप्शंस है इसमें, देख कर आंसर करो. Perfect. Awesome. So I can see about equal distribution of people who are working professionals and business owners, and some of you are not in that bucket. I think almost 20% of you are not in that bucket, but the rest 80% are either working or having a business, which is incredible. Great. Let me just change this and move forward here. This is an important question. Please read and answer once. Have you ever used Helium 10 yourself? मैं YouTube वीडियो देखने की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Options देख के select करना please. The order of options may not be obvious. Okay. 10 more seconds, guys. I'll answer the poll. Also, if anybody here already has a subscription of Helium 10, आप chat पे बता दो कि I have subscription. No, just the people who have it, उन्हीं को answer बोल देना है chat पे. Okay, Shiv, you have it. Pooja, hello Pooja. Great. Akhilesh, Krishna, Platinum, Jyoti. Okay, great, amazing. And this will be very nice. Perfect. Awesome. So just quickly sharing this on the screen. 20% of you have no clue about that. What is Helium 10? तो भाई Helium 10 के बारे में हम थोड़ा सा discussion करेंगे. Plus there will be like a live demo of Helium 10. So definitely pay attention during that session. And some of you have used it. Some of you haven't yet used it. I think almost 50-50 split hai. But cool. That 9 a.m. के around, we will jump into that. Okay. Let's move ahead. So guys, when it comes to e-commerce, there are, and we are only talking about retail e-commerce right now. E-commerce में Netflix भी आ जाता है, education भी आ जाता है, consulting भी आ जाता है. Everything comes under e-commerce, by the way. Okay. We are only talking about retail e-commerce. So I'm defaulting to that. We are here to sort of build a product-based business. Okay. So there are three things that you might come across on the internet. There is private label e-commerce. There is reselling or wholesaling, जिसमें आप दूसरे brand का product resell करते हो with a profit margin. And then there is drop shipping that I'm sure everybody who is here, even if you're working with us, you might have heard about the term drop shipping, right? So if you have seen some of my content on YouTube, you might understand like what do I tell about them, but I will still sort of repeat myself here. So drop shipping is something wherein you don't really have too much control. You are just trying to do a marketing hustle and you're trying to find a product, build a website, run traffic towards it, and potentially get some sales. Okay. So that is dropshipping. The margins in dropshipping generally are lower for two reasons. One, you're not buying in bulk. So one-to-one pricing itni low nahi hoti hai. Second, because you're running a lot of marketing and spending a lot of money on Meta ads or Google ads or YouTube ads to sell your products or even TikTok ads in the US market, margins are generally not very, very high because you've not sort of bought a bulk inventory or you've not really built a proper branding around the product, right? So therefore, you do not have a lot of control over there. The scalability with dropshipping is not very much. If you ever come across any examples on the internet wherein people are quoting कि dropshipping से हमने बहुत बड़ा business बना लिया है, generally it is not the complete truth. People start with dropshipping sometimes, they just experiment something. Once they know कि यार ये product चल रहा है, then they try to sort of build a brand around it and go to private label e-commerce. They just don't come back and tell you कि we have moved, right? So that is the problem with dropshipping. Having said that, for example, if I have to be completely honest, people have asked me this question a lot because yesterday I was in front of 100 plus students who are studying at an MBA university, right? So for somebody like them, it's definitely fine to do dropshipping to try things and educate yourself, right? Because you get to just try things a lot and you get to learn how to do meta ads and stuff. You get a sense of these things. So as an experiment or a project, it's fine. But as a business, dropshipping is not supposed to become a business. It doesn't become a business, right? Then we have reselling. Reselling is a totally different bucket, guys. Reselling में आप खुद का कोई IP नहीं बनाते हो, खुद का कोई brand नहीं बनाते हो. You basically go ahead and buy inventory from another brand from maybe the brand directly or the factory directly or the wholesaler or the distributor of that, product. And then you just try to sell it through e-commerce marketplaces or even your own website. That is also possible, but mostly people sell it through the e-commerce marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, right? So reselling is something that people do. This is a margin business. So over here, since you do not have any IP, you don't really have any business that you can sell in the future, right? So that is what reselling is. I'm sure, and एक wholesaling का term आता है, wholesaling, reselling, interchangeable है थोड़ा, right? Again, over here, you do not have much control because you're not the brand owner. You don't control the IP. You cannot change how the product looks or the branding looks. And you definitely do not have the maximum amount of margins available because you do not, control the backend, right? Scalability here is medium. People do build big businesses when it comes to selling, reselling, but that is because they're selling thousands and thousands of product under multiple brands, and that is their primary business, right? So as इसमें हम बड़ा business तो बना सकते हैं, but it's a long journey to build that, and you do not still own any IP, right? The brand can always tell you that, hey, please stop selling our products, right? What we primarily focus on at D4 Commerce is प्राइवेट लेबल ई कॉमर्स, ठीक है? हम प्राइमरली प्राइवेट लेबल ई कॉमर्स पे फोकस करते हैं. प्राइवेट लेबल ई कॉमर्स बेसिकली मीन्स यू आर ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट योर ओन ब्रांड, राइट? यू आइडेंटिफाई अ प्रोडक्ट, you come up with a brand name, you work with a design branding agency to create your own packaging, your own color scheme and everything. You have your own product ka entire visual ready, and then you manufacture it and then you launch it in the market, right? Is it necessary to launch a private label brand through Amazon? The answer is no. Okay, you can launch your private label brand from your own website as well. You can definitely launch it through a marketplace, right? You can even sort of launch it offline. For example, I would say सबने यहाँ पे एटमबर्ग कंपनी का नाम सुना होगा इंडिया में, right? So Atomberg has become a massive company now, right? But they found a product. Product तो हमारे सर के ऊपर है, सबके सर के ऊपर है अभी, fan, right? So fan was already selling in the market, but they were like, यार, nobody is innovating here. Nobody is trying to bring something fresh in the market. So they spent time in figuring out how can they improve the product design, how can they change the engineering or the core of the product so that the product takes less power consumption because India loves power saving, right? And once they figured that out, they did not go live with a website or Amazon. They went to the distributor network and sold their product through the distributor network first. Nowadays, people go and buy Atomberg fans on Amazon, right? So there's no one path scenario. You need to sort of go through the path which is right for the business. Okay. Now in private label, since you're building your own brand, you have a lot of freedom here. Once you've bought the product from the factory does not care कि आप कितने में बेच रहे हो. That is totally up to you, right? That is up to you to decide कि आप कैसे उसको position कर रहे हो. Are you positioning it like a low cost alternative? Are you positioning it like a semi premium product? Are you positioning it like a luxury item, right? That depends on the product. Okay. So you have full control on the margins. You can make the maximum amount of margins here if you do the right positioning, the right branding, the right storytelling to the customer. Because a pen can sell for 10 rupees, but a pen can also sell for easy 1500 rupees, right? This is not even luxury. Luxury pens sell for thousands and thousands of rupees, right? So that is the advantage when it comes to private label e-commerce. You have full control here. The scalability is massive because you can, if you have a product or a brand which is globally, you can say, used or accessible, technically you do not have any market limit, right? You can scale up to different markets. You can go to different countries. You can sell directly to different countries. You can even indirectly sell to different countries. For example, there are 196 countries, right? Can we directly sell to every country? The answer is no, right? But your business can focus on, अच्छा मुझे US, UK, Germany, Canada में direct बेचना है. Everywhere else, you can just do a B2B transaction and sell through the distributors, right? So technically, there is no limit on the way you can scale your business geographically. Okay. The biggest advantage here, guys, is asset creation. When you're creating a brand, you're creating an asset. What that means is, how many of you here are into stock market? Just say yes or write stock in the chat. If you're into stock market, just write stock if you are into stock market. एक stock भी लिया तो yes लिख सकते हो. All right. Cool. So good 30-40 of you are here in stock market, and some of you might be here on YouTube. Guys, are you following the YouTube comments? Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice. So see, when you buy a stock, you're buying an asset. You're expecting कि उसका value appreciate होगा. When you're creating your own private label brand, that is stock number one. You can imagine it like that. It's an asset. It will appreciate in value as the business performs. Even if it's growing slowly over a year, 2 year period, the value of business is compounding over time because people care about specific brands, or big businesses care about buying specific brands as well. So it is an asset. So I'm sure everybody knows about HUL or Hindustan Liver. मैं उसका एग्जांपल ले रहा हूँ बिकॉज सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर कंपनी है वो उस लेवल पे, राइट? इट्स अ ग्लोबल कंपनी. दे हैव innumerable brands that they have bought. They have not started them, right? There are a lot of brands that HUL or Hindustan Unilever Limited has just bought because somebody else built it and they became like a market leader in that category. Even I'm sure a lot of you here know about Mama Earth. So Mama Earth is again like uska jo parent company hai, that is buying a lot of brands now, right? That's how they are growing their business. So that is the advantage. When you're doing a dropshipping business or a reselling business, such companies cannot buy anything from you because you do not have any control. You do not have any IP. There's no unique proposition that you're bringing to the table. So there's nothing to buy. But if you're doing private label, even if it's growing slowly over the next 2 years, 3 years, you will have something with you that is sellable and you can potentially sell it in the future if you choose to exit from it. Okay. So that is a big advantage when it comes to private label. Let's move forward. So how does this work? The private label journey, I'll just quickly highlight 4 basic pillars. सबसे पहले तो guys, you will have full brand ownership when you are a private label business owner. When I say private label, it's the same term as D2C. I'm sure a lot of you here watch Shark Tank in India or globally. Can you type ST if you see Shark Tank या फिर देखा है आपने पहले? Okay, in the chat, ST. Got it. Great. Yeah. I guess season 5 was not interesting at all, but overall Shark Tank is popular in India. I don't think I've seen anything in season 5. But see, Shark Tank, when you observe Shark Tank episodes, there are almost 150 pitches that happen every year. 150 pitches होते हैं Shark Tank में roughly. ठीक है? Out of that 150 pitches, 70% of the pitch that founders come and do are of brands and e-commerce companies. They might have started offline or they might have started through like a retail shop, but at the end of the day, they're building an e-commerce brand. Okay, 70% startups that come to Shark Tank are e-commerce brands, or even 80% actually, right? So the reason why they're getting that funding is because the investors can think that, okay, like this brand can become bigger and therefore let me participate in that journey, right? So when you have 100% of the ownership of IP, people will care to sort of invest in your business if you want to take investments in the future. So that door also unlocks. But if you're doing like buy and sell trading kind of business, if you're doing drop shipping wherein you do not really control much, investors will not really give you money, right? Because you do not have any IP. Plus, in the private label journey, if you are thinking big, you can even set up your own manufacturing in the future, which is again like it's going to unlock a lot of doors for government grants stuff, right? So brand ownership is one of the key elements here. You can have margins, premium margins here because it depends on how you position it. IP means intellectual property, Adesh, right? And everybody. IP, when I say IP, it means intellectual property. For example, if you think about Mama Earth, जैसे मैं बता रहा था, तो Mama Earth is a trademark first of all. Now at least 10-15 लाख लोग इंडिया में मामा अर्थ ब्रांड जानते होंगे. छोटा नंबर बता रहा हूँ मैं, इससे ज्यादा लोग जानते होंगे, right? So that is an IP. The company has built this over a period of time and now people recognize it. Now if somebody goes to a medical store or a grocery store, they will recognize that Acha, Mamaearth is a good brand. Let me just buy it from this company. Right. So that is what they have managed to build over the last 5-6 years. Okay. So I hope that IP point is clear. So you have complete flexibility and control on your margins. You decide how to position your product. Scalability is massive. You are already seeing some examples. I'm sure everybody here has followed the case of boat as well, right? Otherwise, you cannot even think about e-commerce, because boat is one of the greatest examples when it comes to the scalability that you can achieve just because of doing things correctly inside Amazon. Boat brand has been built on Amazon itself. अभी भी उनके वेबसाइट से कोई ज्यादा सेल्स नहीं होते हैं, राइट? Amazon से ही मैक्सिमम सेल्स होते हैं, ठीक है? So there is massive potential when it comes to scale, whether it's indigenous या फिर global. And the competitive advantage again you have is that when you are building your own brand, you are also adding layers of protection. People cannot just duplicate your item, right? Especially for example, अगर आपके पास trademark है, when you have trademark, another company or another seller cannot just use that brand name just because you have managed to grow that, business over the last year or so. For example, I cannot start or label a product with my Mamaearth and sell it tomorrow. It's not possible, right? Another advantage is when you are building a brand, you're also creating other intellectual properties, which can be the product ka design or product ka formulation, right? That is also part of your IP creation. Because, for example, I'm sure everybody would have seen Coca-Cola or Pepsi ke recipes secret hote hain, right? You will never find out their recipe and they will never reveal it because they don't have to. And वो तो इतना सीक्रेट है कि उनके एम्प्लॉयज को भी पता नहीं होता कि कैसे बनता है, right? It's built with a process and nobody exactly knows how is that product built. And that is the power of, IP creation, because nobody can copy their taste, nobody can try to match their flavor, and therefore nobody can duplicate or snatch their market share away, right? Similarly, other things can be protected as well. Like, I don't know if everybody's aware here, but even the red color of Ferrari is protected. The same red color cannot be used by another car company, right? So you can protect your designs, you can protect your, names, you can protect your slogans. Like Nike ka just do it, you cannot actually use legally, you cannot use it, right? And that's where you're able to build like this competitive moat wherein there are multiple layers of protection that you're adding, so that your business does not have the risk of getting duplicated or copied. It is a journey. You will not do everything in the launch or pre-launch. You will do it as the business grows. Okay, cool. So यहाँ तक सब clear है, good है. So just type good in the chat box, please. GOOD. Perfect. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Let me just have a look at. Yeah. All right. Everybody who's listening to us on YouTube, try to use the live chat box to drop your questions and respond as well. Awesome. All right, guys. So product research framework पे चलते हैं. Some of you might have learned about this in Basecamp. I will repeat this one more time. Until you launch the business, I'll keep repeating it. So this is the process that we follow here at D4 Commerce. We first start with the discovery process, wherein the idea is to come up with massive amount of ideas. Like, be good at coming up with massive amount of ideas. Some of you are already building your list with us, right? So when we are trying to build our list of potential ideas, we are generally not too much worried about whether the product will perform or not perform, right? That is a decision that we make in the second stage. But in the first stage, the goal is how can we constantly come up with ideas, and how can we constantly be good at discovering items that can be sold in the market. Okay. So that's what we do in the product research framework level 1, right? Once you have a strong list of ideas, then you go to the second stage where you try to start applying logic. For example, basic things that you will check, and we will do a little bit of that during the Helium 10 segment. You can look at some basic metrics, like अगर कोई product है, उसका search volume कितना है. For example, a bad idea, but I'll just use that as an example. एक product है जो बीच में बहुत popular हो रहा था, and a lot of people were discussing that with me, called hydrogen water bottle. Okay, there was a product called hydrogen water bottle. Now, when we are evaluating something like that, the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, what is the search volume like, right? More than the search volume, I also worry about what is the search volume trend like. Is it stable? Or is it just a viral item that somebody just discovered through a TikTok reel or an Instagram reel, and they're just like excited about launching it because it seems to be making money right now, right? So we need to look at that. We need to look at the search volume trends, which basically means we have to see पिछले 24 months में कैसा search volume रहा है, so that we can predict कि अगले 12 से 24 महीने search volume कैसा रहेगा, right? So that is just one data point. Amongst that, we also look at sales कितना हो रहा है. Amazon में आजकल आपको sales भी दिखा देता है कि कितना sales हो रहा है, right? It will not show it on all the items, but on some of the items, you'll be able to get a sense of how much is it selling, right? There is one metric that Amazon shows publicly that you might be aware about called BSR, जिसको हम कहते हैं Best Sellers Rank. Best Sellers Rank is directly proportional to the sales of the product or the sales velocity of the product, if I have to be very correct, right? So जितना बेस्ट सेलर रैंक नीचे होगा उतना सेल्स वेलोसिटी ज्यादा होगा, मतलब उतने ज्यादा यूनिट्स वो पर डे सेल कर रहे हैं. ओके, सो when it comes to BSR, it is important to again understand what's the stability of BSR, how well is it sort of moving. Like when we look at BSR, we have to look at it at a product level कि एक product का BSR का journey क्या है, right? If we are seeing अच्छा this product X is doing let's say 3,000 pieces a month, then we need to see the BSR has to be stable as well. Otherwise it might be like कि वो अभी 3,000 पीस बेच रहे हैं, उन्होंने पिछले महीने नहीं बेचे होंगे, right? So it is important to do that kind of evaluation. At D4 Commerce, we have 20 plus different data points that we check before we finalize a product to sell in the market, right? So that's the second stage. Once your product passes all of those tests, then we worry about the innovation angle. Okay, innovation or differentiation basically means we need to figure out how to strategically position ourselves or our product so that the customers pick our option before you go to the market, right? So for that, the very basic thing that we do is we try to look at reviews, we try to read reviews, we try to understand, okay, like what are customers really loving? And we can find that out by reading the 5 stars and the 4 star reviews. Then we read 1 and 2 star reviews, and we try to understand what are customers not liking of about the best sellers in the market, right? Even if something is already selling 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pieces, there may be some things that people may not be liking about it. And if we can identify those weaknesses, then we can build those weaknesses as our strengths in our listing. Okay. So that's what we do in innovation. Once you have some clear plan and strategic advantage that why should you be launching that product, only then you invest money and start selling that product in the future, right? So these two steps or stages are extremely important, because idea generation तो आप देखो 2-3 हफ्तों में सीख लोगे and you'll be able to build a list, but to get to the final selection decision is the whole journey. Okay, cool. So that's how we select products. This is our framework. Now, I already asked some of you here, like, have you used Helium 10 or not? So Helium 10, guys, is one of the tools that we use in our journey of product selection. Okay. Helium 10 has been in the market for a very long time. I think might be touching a decade as well. 10 years ho chuke honge. And they have a list of multiple tools. This is a screenshot from my Helium 10 dashboard, right? If you go to products, you will see all of these tools that they have. They have a whole suite of tools under product research. Then they have a lot of tools under listing optimization. Then they have some tools that you can use while you're going live or once you've gone live. Under marketing, analytics is again like going to be very useful, especially things like rank tracking and stuff, so that you understand कि आपका product कौन से keyword पे rank कर रहा है, right? Then they have some tools that help you in managing your journey post launch. For example, follow up is a tool which is going to make sure that you are at least trying your best to get reviews from every order that you're getting on Amazon, right? Because you can't like manually message a person who's buying your product on Amazon. You cannot email them. outside the Amazon's platform. You cannot even email them through the Amazon platform multiple times, right? So we use a tool called Follow Up, wherein we send automated reminders to the people who have ordered our products on Amazon so that we can get some reviews and review growth on our listing, right? So this, we will be looking a little bit into Helium10 later on in a few minutes. But yeah, there are a lot of tools here. Black Box is a tool wherein we, try to discover products. Cerebro is a tool which used to be called Magnet. Cerebro is a tool wherein we try to understand what keywords are performing, what are the keywords relevant to a product, should we move ahead with the product or not, how is the search volume trend, everything is available inside Cerebro, right? So we'll be coming to Helium10 in some time. Let's move ahead. And how many of you are ready to sort of dive into Helium10 and see some live demo? Uh, type Helium or H10. Type H10 in the chat box. Perfect. Amazing. Yes. So a lot of you are absolutely here for exactly that. That's why I'm keeping the rest of the information pretty simple. And once Shivali is here, she will take over and she will give you a live demo. So make sure that you pay a lot of attention during the live demo, right? Let's bust some myths until then. Number one, guys, and people who have already interacted with me on one-on-one calls, you might already be aware, but still there will be some news or some new information here, because we are interacting with multiple sellers, multiple people who have launched the product already, multiple clients of ours who are already selling on a weekly basis. So there is the influx of knowledge that we have, or the new learnings that we are getting every week, is definitely way higher than whatever you can find on the internet. Okay. Number one, guys, Amazon or an e-commerce business is never going to be a super passive journey. It will become passive when you've hired people and a lot of that work is done by other people, right? It is not going to be passive as it is. So this idea on the internet that people have on YouTube, especially for everybody listening on YouTube, is people position e-commerce like just launch your business and forget about it. It'll make money. It never works like that. That's not a business, right? So even if you're buying stock in the stock market, you're still worried about ki, acha, like what's the performance like right now, right? So that is the expectation here. Real business will require time. It will require some changes on a weekly basis or a daily basis. It will require you to stay focused so that you are constantly trying to make improvements and adjustments. Almost there are, like, I think 10 plus people right now interacting with me every week who have gone live. So once people go live on Amazon, they are constantly in touch with me so that we can understand, okay, like what changes do we need to do, what is it that we have to sort of work upon this week, how can we improve our performance and go from 2 orders a day to 5 orders a day, and from 5 orders a day to 10 orders a day, right? Those are the kinds of discussions that we have as soon as the business goes live, right? So there is no ideal time. In the beginning, you can do this business as a part-time thing, as everybody knows. You do not have to sort of do this full time. But once the business is live, you can absolutely consider going full time once it crosses a certain revenue figure. So, and that can be different for everybody. For some of you, getting to like 1 lakh profit a month can be that milestone. For some of you, getting to X revenue a month could be a target, and after that you can do it full time, right? But yes, if somebody here or some of you here are already having the luxury to invest full time and build this business, that itself is like a big deal. So definitely use it wisely. Okay. Second, do you need huge capital to start an e-commerce business? The answer is, when I say huge, it will mean like 40, 50 lakhs, 1 crore rupees. Okay. That's what huge means. You do not need that much capital. You can start your e-commerce business under 10 lakh rupees. Generally, we advise people to have access to at least 6 to 10 lakh rupees to properly start a business. In some categories, that capital is also less. For example, if you want to launch a supplement brand, it will be less. If you want to launch a supplement brand, you'll need at least like 30, 40 lakhs of capital, unless there is something very new that we have discovered and we are very confident that that will work and it will not go out of trend, right? If you are going to get into fashion or jewelry, over there again the challenges can be something else. The challenges could be like maintaining many sizes, many colors, many SKUs, and therefore you will need capital to make sure that you have enough inventory of all of the different designs or shapes or whatever, right? So we don't find very like we don't find fashion and jewelry products very exciting, so we don't work in those categories as much. But everything else is on the table. All the other categories, including supplement. One of our supplement brands went live last week, right? So that's how it is. Now, this one is also very important. The third one, when you have found a winning product, which will be hard work, by the way, guys. Like to find a winning product itself is like a 1 month or a 1.5 month minimum journey. Okay. But just because you've found a right product and the data is telling you that, hey, this is a good one, this can make money, etc., does not mean that it will make money. It will only make money and perform when we are running behind the business and we are always on our toes. Every day we have to do something. Every day we have to make some minor adjustments and make some changes and make sure that the performance is happening. Now, people usually get fascinated about daily units sold or revenue. Okay. That is not, that should not be the primary focus. The primary focus should be one metric every month or one metric every week that you're constantly fixating on कि भाई इसको improve कैसे करना है. For example, I'll give you a real example. When you are, let's say, selling a product on Amazon, one of the most important things for you to constantly have is some review growth, right? So when you want review growth on Amazon, and if you're not doing anything about it, your reviews will not grow on Amazon, right? For example, one of our listings, which just crossed like 2 crores of revenue in 7.5 months, we have sold about, I think, close to 6,000 orders. 6,000 orders होने के बाद हमारे कितने रिव्यू आए होंगे? Can you guess? Can you drop a number? What's your best guess? How many reviews do we have on the listing after doing 6,000 orders? I can see Shashank, Akhilesh, Pooja, 60, less than 500, Jyoti, 500, Ratnadeep, Arshit, 1,000, 15, 50, Nijam says 400, 360. Great, awesome. 1.5K, Ashna, Abhin, 1,500. Cool. So 6,000 orders. Currently, the reviews on that listing is close to 120 reviews, right? So it's definitely not 1,000, definitely not 500, definitely not 2,000. Like Prakhar is estimating here, it is just 120, right? We have not activated all of our boxes now. I'll be transparent about that. But yes, the automated reminders go to customers, right? People are obviously receiving good product. The rating on the listing is beyond 4.4, right? So the customers are definitely excited about the product. But are they very excited and very, very excited कि भाई मेहनत करके कोई आके रिव्यू लिख के जाएगा? वो नहीं होता है. ठीक है? When do you think customers drop a review on Amazon? When they have an extreme reaction, only then. Extreme reaction is easy to be triggered when the product is bad or the delivery experience was bad, right? Delivery experience is not in the scope of the seller. So if you're selling through Amazon and if you get a 1-star review just because of bad delivery experience, Amazon will remove that 1-star review, right? We'll have to just create a case to Amazon and tell Amazon ki bhai, it's not our problem because the delivery experience was bad. That's your problem. So they will remove it, right? But for everything else, if the product was bad or if the product color did not match and your listing image was showing them brown color and the product that landed in their residence was light brown color, and if that image did not match, they will definitely come and drop a negative review, right? One unfortunate example that I can tell you is one of our teams had launched a product recently, I think few months back, early part of the year maybe. Now they have a very good product, but their packaging was not absolutely on point. Okay, because of bad packaging. Now the problem here was the packaging was not on point, but the product itself is a giftable item. So the problem is it's a giftable item with a bad packaging. Now that is useless for the customer because you cannot gift a product if the packaging was bad, right? And because of that, they started getting returns. And now on their listing on Amazon, there is this red message from Amazon that most people return this item, right? Now, when something like that shows up on Amazon, or customers see that as a message, then obviously your orders will drop substantially, right? You cannot fix that, right? So we have to make sure that everything that we do before launch is aligned with our long-term vision, not like a short-term launch journey. Okay, cool. So execution is very important. As soon as you go live, review growth, you have to focus on infinitely. There are multiple ways in which we help with reviews once people go live in our community, wherein you can constantly have review growth on Amazon in a guaranteed manner. Okay, in a way, in Amazon ethical way. So we're not talking about any black hat tactics. Second, you have to be obviously upskilling yourself, learning and executing and managing your own Amazon ads as soon as you go live. Very, very important. You have to learn that. You have to, like when people are working with us, we do it over live calls, and that's how we execute that PPC journey. Then once your business is live, you have to constantly be aware about any negative feedback that has come so that in the next production order, you can improve your product, right? So finding a product is literally, in my opinion, 30% of the journey. 70% is what are you doing every day once the business is live. Okay. All right. Another myth that I would like to bust here, because we are talking about myths here, is number one, the trade war problem that is happening. Okay. All of that trade war thing is happening. I think last July 2025 onwards, the tariff situation has been in the news forever, right? Now, is the tariff situation a very big problem? The answer is actually no. Because what's happening is all of the freight forwarding companies, all the shipping companies are giving the sellers flexibility because they have good relationships with the entire customs and everything. So what's happening is, I'll give you an example. Let's say I wanted to sell this AC remote. ठीक है? अब ये AC remote पे let's assume that there was 25% tariff, right? And I decided, okay, like I can sell this because people are looking for a second AC remote because they're, though nobody wants to buy like an expensive branded remote once again, right? So what will happen is the shipping company will put your products along with other items in the same container. And if your, 25% tariff, if your product has 25% tariff, you might still get away with 5% tariff because it's going in a aggregated manner. At this point of time, as of this week's discussion with, multiple shipping companies, we were looking at one item that we got quotations from 10 shipping companies, and all the 10 shipping companies said the same thing, that hey, you will not have to pay 25% tariff. Now those 10 companies are not related to each other, right? They're all independent companies. They're all telling you that the same thing even without knowing each other. So that is definitely some signal, right? So on the ground, there are some gray areas in which the companies are operating wherein you are not taking decision, but it's being taken for you and you're already on the benefit side, right? But what's happening is a lot of people are calculating the tariffs as per exactly what is mentioned on the websites, on the customs websites, which is completely right. You should do that. But we should definitely double check what's the ground reality, because the ground reality can be in your favor. Okay. So that is the one thing. Now, another thing that I would like to highlight is shipping costs, because all of this, again, Iran situation is happening. A lot of you might be worried about like what's happening. Like, is it possible to even ship products now? The answer is yes. The shipping costs have not gone to a point where you can't afford to ship. Okay. Shipping costs always keep on changing as the oil prices fluctuate, right? And oil prices change every 2 weeks because oil is also a commodity. Okay. It's just that it may be fluctuating a little bit more right now. But just because oil prices are fluctuating right now, we don't worry about launching a business 4 months later. That might not be a smart idea, because 4 months later, there might be more stability. It's already getting stable now as of today morning's news, right? So moral of the story, I'll just tell you guys, whatever you hear in media is only 1% of reality, because media operates with like a perception building goal. What is happening on the ground is available as information from the companies who are operating on a day-to-day basis. Okay. All right. So moving on. Once you are live or you're about to go live, there are certain things that you have to sort of remember so that your business survives and you do not end up sort of going downwards after you go live. We have already discussed some of them, so I'll pass through that. First of all, your product research has to be strong, which we have already discussed. Without a strong, confident product research, which has to be data backed, it cannot be guesswork. It cannot just depend on one data point like search volume. It has to be a very, very risk-free approach when it comes to product research. If that is good, then the rest of the journey will fall in place. The second one is reviews. We already discussed that, so I'll swipe through it. Uh, Third one here is extremely important, guys. You have to be super confident about a factory before you finalize कि यार ये product हमें बेचना है. Okay. Now, one important point: finalizing a factory or deciding where will you manufacture your product will have to be a 1 month journey. Some people think, yeah, I will find a factory through Alibaba today. I will order samples in the next few days, and by next week, my factory will be locked. Okay, it does not work like that, because the faster decision making you do in this scenario, the more risks you have. Because when you are talking to multiple factories for, let's say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, you will understand which factory is responding really well, which factory is trying to collaborate with you and give you ideas, which factory is trying to sort of, bat from your side and tell you that, hey, this is what's possible to reduce the cost. All of that. When that is happening, then you will have more clarity and confidence about the factory that you're talking to, or the factory that you're talking with. All right. But if you take that entire decision in just 5 days, that, hey, I found this factory and I finalized this factory and now I'm placing the order, you'll definitely have some errors or issues, or sometimes you will lose your money. But as a process, one thing that I would love to highlight is, in the last 4-5 years of operating like a consulting partner, working with multiple people, we have never lost even $100 in sourcing, in buying the products from a factory. Right? That is because as long as people are connected with me and they're operating with us as a consulting partner and they're constantly taking inputs, we will try to identify all the red flags through conversations. Right? And that is why this is again very important. Sometimes you should be okay to drop a product idea if you cannot find a good factory. Okay. If you cannot find a good factory, no point in launching that product unless you find a good factory. Okay. Now, during the launch, or just about 2-3 weeks before the launch, you have to start working on your listing. Your first version of the listing has to be at least 7 on 10. Now, that 7 on 10 might not mean anything to you because you might not know what is 7 on 10. Right? And that is exactly, again, wherein you have to upskill yourself, take inputs, have discussions, even delegate that work to an expert in the first product launch. Right? Like, we can do that listing development activity for all of the members that are working with us. Right? We do that. So when you're working with us, when we are working on your listing, we are doing your photography, we are doing your SEO, we are doing your Amazon infographic or A+ content design. When that is happening, you are also learning in the process instead of looking at a video content on YouTube and trying to figure it out with AI. Right? So launching with a solid listing is very important, because Amazon's algorithm is tracking you as soon as you go live. That, okay, like day 1 mein kya performance hai, day 2 mein kya performance hai, what's the performance like on day 3, etc. Right? So when we have a very good listing, we can at least expect that, okay, that box is ticked. We need to drive some traffic. We will then understand how many people are converting, and then we will move forward from there. And obviously, the listing should not stay stagnant. Every month, you have to definitely make updates to your listing. Okay, sometimes some sellers launch a product and then after that for 6-7 months, they've not ever done anything with their listing. And that is a very clear signal that those sellers are not operating with data. Because if you're operating with data, you're always going to have something to change and do and improve. Okay. Finally, in the launch strategy, during the launch has to be absolutely on point and available. Basically, as soon as you go live, you need to know, okay, what do I need to do on the first week? How many reviews do I need to generate in the first month? Generally, the principle that we follow is we need to absolutely get 30 reviews in the first 30 days. That is the minimum mark. Right? Anyhow, there will be an option called Amazon Wine Program, wherein you can get like 20+ reviews in the first 30 days for sure. Right? Then there will be a little bit of your friends and family, but your friends and family will not really help you too much. So maybe you can get like under 5 reviews from there. So that is the only kind of expectation that you should have. Beyond that, you have to obviously have other mechanisms to get review, like the follow-up thing that we discussed, or a product insert, without asking the customer that, hey, please come to my listing and drop a 5-star review, because that is against Amazon's terms of service, right? And there are some other strategies that we provide, wherein you constantly have review growth every month, right? So launch strategy after launch has to be clear. You have to track your ranking on multiple keywords. Helium 10 has one of the tools wherein you can track your ranking as well, right? So that becomes very helpful as soon as you go live, because once you will go live on Amazon, you will focus on 5 to 10 keywords only. You will not focus on 800, 900 keywords that your competitor is getting sales from, right? First of all, you will focus on 5 to 10 keywords, and your absolute mission of life has to be, how can I come on page one on some of those keywords? As soon as you start coming on page one, the search volume figure that you see in theory will start impacting your business in a positive manner, right? Because you are coming on page one, and let's say there is a keyword that is getting 1 lakh searches a month. Now you're getting some real impressions without spending money. Okay. Is everything clear so far? Can you type clear in the chat box if everything is clear so far? Amazing. Abhishek, do we have Shivali here already?
Yes. We have Shivali already over here.
Okay.
So let's introduce her. I can take that part if needed.
All right.
And let's make her co-host as well.
Perfect.
She
Amazing.
has
You
slides to
can,
share as well.
yeah, I'll just stop my share for the moment. So we'll hop forward, guys. Over to you, Abhishek.
Can you just make her the co-host and
I
we'll
am
pin her.
trying to find,
Hmm.
yeah, got it. Co-host. Done.
Done. Great. Hello everyone. So Shivali from Helium10 is here. So she is a senior brand evangelist at Helium10, and she right now handles, I believe, 4 unique, distinct portfolios of brands. She's consulting with them. So she'll be leading the Helium10 part for today, and let's hear from her directly.
Hey, Shivali. Hi. Good to have you here today.
Yeah, good to be on. Nice to be with Indian community for a change. How's everyone
Amazing.
doing?
Very good.
सब कैसे हैं? मेरी हिंदी इतनी अच्छी नहीं है.
Oh, that is
थोड़ी
good.
थोड़ी सी आती है.
That is
थोड़ी थोड़ी सी
absolutely
आती है.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I have a lot for you guys. I'm going to share my screen here if I click the right buttons.
Yes, you
Let's
should be able to share.
see.
Quick trivia. Where are you from in India?
Ahmedabad. I was actually born in Ahmedabad in Gujarat.
Okay, fine. That's where the hotspot is in terms of seller
It
community.
is all the cool people are from Ahmedabad. No, I'm kidding, of course. I love India. I was actually just there in January. My
Wow.
family and I, we spent 3 weeks there. Mumbai, I've never gotten around to, so at some point I have to make my rounds.
Yeah, we'll get you here. D4 Commerce.
Yeah, definitely at some point, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, let's jump into it. Like I said, I've got a lot. Some stuff will be slides. I also was talking to Abhishek. He said that those of you that are watching are kind of diverse. Some of you are just getting started looking for a product. Some of you might be established. Maybe you've already got a product and you're trying to build a listing, which I saw a question about what a listing is. You know what? When you're on Amazon and you go to a product and it says add to cart or buy now on a specific page, that's a listing. You're going there, you're looking to purchase that product. And then the second half of this presentation will be live. So it's really, I like to do my stuff really interactive. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll have Q&A at the end. So if I don't get to it during the presentation, I'll hit it at the very end. So make sure any questions you have, feel free to drop them in the chat. There is no such thing as a dumb question. Everybody starts somewhere, all right? So with that, you guys are looking at my screen? Yes?
Yes.
Circle screen. Okay, great. Why most Amazon products fail in 90 days. That is my topic and how you can avoid it. If you don't know who I am, I'm a senior brand evangelist at Helium10. If you don't know what Helium10 is a software suite of tools for the Amazon, TikTok shop, and Walmart seller. So meaning if you want to sell something and you want to make sure you're going to make money on it, it's profitable, then you might use one of our tools to help you save time, money, and energy, and make sure that whatever rupees you're spending in business, making sure that you have a return at the end of the day. Also, if you have a great product, doesn't mean somebody's going to buy that product unless you are ranking at the very, very top of your Amazon search terms. So I might go in and say, hey, I want to buy a white marble coffee coaster cup today. And if I type that into Amazon, then I have a handful of results that come back. And I want to make sure that the product, if I were selling that, it's going to show up at the very, very top. So I want to use the right keywords. I want to make sure that I'm indexing and ranking and stay on top of it. So if I fall in my rankings, I'm still going to be able to do something about it, make sure that I know it, and then fix my strategy so I can actually capitalize on the search, all the people that are going and actually searching for that product. And then running all the way into ads and marketing, influencers, even expanding out into different marketplaces. But I digress. I also am a brand owner, as said in the introduction. I've helped over 100,000 sellers globally. It sounds really impressive, but it's really easy when you're doing content, and I teach all the time. I was the former host of Serious Sellers Podcast, which is the most listened to podcast in the world for Amazon sellers, and I'm also currently the host of AM/PM Podcast. Have any of you guys listened to either of these podcasts? Let me know in the chat. All right, enough about me. There's no one box that fits all when it comes to this topic. Just because you are getting into selling on Amazon doesn't mean that every single person makes the same mistakes. There's different aspects for different things, right? Product research might have different set of common mistakes you might want to avoid, some in ads, some in marketing. So let's kind of jump into some of the most common ones that I hear from sellers. These are common ones that you can avoid, so you, my friends, can absolutely go and crush it. All right, like I said, brief overview, then we jump into live. Choosing a product that sucks or you think is gonna do well, that's not a good approach. Just because you go in and you think, oh, I was talking to mere dost ke sath. You see what I mean? My Hindi is not great. But when you are speaking with your friend and maybe it's something in conversation comes up that, you think this will do well on Amazon. That's not a good way to approach it. You want to make sure that it's actually backed by data. All right. And that can be through Black Box and Product Launchpad. Now, Product Launchpad might not be available yet in India, but Black Box is. And so wherever you plan to sell, if you plan to sell in the Indian marketplace, you'll want to make sure you're selecting India as the marketplace and then going in and taking a look at what the consumer behavior looks like. So I will want to make sure that, something is actually showcasing for demand before I'm going in and spending my money and getting that product sourced. Sounds simple enough, right? But a lot of people skip it because they think, oh, this would be so good. I need it and I couldn't find it anywhere, and that's good enough. We'll get into how to use Black Box in a moment. Then we've got creating a listing that doesn't help you rank your very awesome product. You put in a lot of time, money, energy, but maybe that's not showing up at the top of search like we were talking about before. And this is where some software tools can really help you, is understand what's going on with the Amazon algorithm, with consumer behavior, and then you can go from there, making sure that your title, your bullet points, your description, your A+ content, all of the parts of your listing actually are not only helping you rank at the very top of the relevant search pages, but also you will want to ensure your graphics support that, because we always say you want to assume that the person that's going and actually looking at your listing is only going to look at maybe just your images, maybe just your title and your bullet points. We have to assume that every part of that listing might be the only thing the consumer looks at. And so that's why it's so important you use different tools to help understand what's going on in your niche. Make sure that the competitors, you are stacking at the very, very top of all of them. Then you've got audiences, media analyzer, listing builder, 8-in-1. We'll jump into that in a moment here. Failing to optimize your strategy is something else I see. Some folks will say, hey, got a great product, got great listing, I did my job, and that's it. Nothing else. No, you have to keep reiterating and making sure that you are actually innovating. And if the words change, for example, Holi comes around, maybe your product is relevant to Holi, you'll have certain keywords that only show up at that time frame. And so go in and make sure that those search terms are showing up. You're running ads for them, or they're showing up somewhere in your listing. Okay, let's go on to the next slide here before we jump into live. Then we've got monitoring and cleaning your ads regularly. Same thing applies as your listing. You don't want to just set it and forget it and be done with it. You'll want to optimize it regularly, especially in ads, because otherwise sometimes you'll find you'll start a campaign, and a campaign is just something you set to create that you will have, make sure that your ads are going out for your products and going in and cleaning them, because you might end up having 20 clicks and 0 sales. That's the last thing you want. You want to make sure that you're not just throwing your money down the drain, because that money is probably going to be better spent somewhere else. Also, not leveraging your skill sets and resources to go omni-channel. This might not really be relevant in India just yet, but as I've told some of my seller friends who are in different regions that might not have access yet to those, if you do have folks you know in regions where it is supported, it is worth at least considering it. I won't spend too much time on this because I know TikTok is banned in India, but it is something I want to put out there because it is included with most Helium 10 plans. Then we've got being lazy about your top of funnel and your internal and external marketing. This includes your influencers, the way that you're positioning your brand, what you are saying about your brand to actually market it, and then AI avatars. How many of you guys have been using AI? Let me know in the chat section. I actually see I've got a note here that says some of you are in the Amazon US and Canadian marketplace. Okay, awesome. Great. That makes it much more relevant then. If you're already on the US marketplace, you guys will be able to use your business entity to actually sell on TikTok. Anybody been interested in TikTok Shop? What about that? I see yes, heavily awesome. Okay, yeah, love to see it. Did I just hear somebody unmute? No, okay.
That was me. That was
Oh,
me.
okay, okay. Okay, just checking in. Yeah, so you don't want to be lazy about your top of funnel, right? Because that's where you get more traffic. Amazon loves external traffic. Absolutely capitalize on what's already there. There's already people searching for it. You don't have to convince them to buy there. They're just looking for something, and if you show up in front of their eyes, they'll buy it. But then you can also capitalize on hype, where most of us are probably spending our time is social media. So you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or Reddit or wherever you guys like to spend your time, capitalizing on that. Send traffic to Amazon, and you don't have to do it with the intention of sending to Amazon. I've spoken to so many TikTok shop sellers who have sent their product to influencers, and those influencers go and create content. It is a numbers game. It's not one influencer and it's good to go. But I've heard that you have influencers that start to promote it, and then the next influencer wants it, and the next influencer wants it. And pretty soon you see a halo effect, because not everybody wants to buy on TikTok Shop, right? How many of you guys buy, if you've been in a region where TikTok is there? Anybody shopped on TikTok Shop? I'm assuming this is going to be a lot of no's. But for me, I had never purchased on TikTok Shop, and then I listed my products on TikTok Shop, and all of a sudden I was really interested in how everybody else's products were. So I started purchasing on it, and guess what? It's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same as Amazon. It's just a completely different user base, and it's really fast growing. Live shopping is becoming more of a thing there. There's also new integrations with Meta, which is Facebook, for Amazon affiliate links too. So I'm seeing a blend in this space of different marketplaces, which is why on this slide I talk about not considering omni-channel, because you've already got great product, great skill sets, you know how to run the business. It's really similar elsewhere. But let's dial it back. I'm going to stop my screen share here and go into a live format, if that's cool with everyone, if I can find where my screen is. Let's see, give me a moment. Oh, there we go. Share. Everybody doing good so far? Following along? Hopefully, yes.
Yes, super.
Okay, cool. All right, how am I doing on time? Yeah, okay, great. So right now we are in Black Box. This is, anybody remember one of the first tools? Yes, everybody remember? Cool. So before we were talking about choosing a product that actually has the historical data to back it up. Maybe some of you are already Helium10 users, which I always like to know. Let me know if you're a Helium10 user. If you're not, that's okay. You guys can still approach this and understand how to go about product research. It's the mentality, right? You can do this even when you're on Amazon's platform and go from there. This just makes life a whole lot simpler. Actually, back in 2020, when I was first launching for FBA, I did stuff manually. I went through, I checked out BSRs, I was going through page by page. I had a set amount of capital, and I wanted to make sure when I went into business that all that money was going to pay me dividends. It was actually going to have some returns. Did that happen? No, it didn't happen at the time. I actually had to relaunch. And that's not to deter you, but it's to be very honest that sometimes going the manual route takes up too much time. And that's kind of what happened with me is I got a great product, 40% plus profit margins, but then I had an issue with actually getting verified with Amazon. So it was more so Amazon's side, but then 9 months eats up your profit. And so time is money is the real takeaway here, which is why something like Black Box can really help you. Let's talk a little bit about what we're looking at here. At the very top, if you are planning to sell in the US marketplace, then it's totally fine if you have US selected here. If you are selling elsewhere, then be sure to select whichever marketplace. Maybe you guys are selling in Canada or Spain or Mexico or India. You can do your research there. Consumer varies based on region. So consumer behavior, excuse me. So make sure you are actually going in and selecting accordingly. You've got many tabs up top. I'm going to be doing really fast, high-level overview. If I talk too fast, you guys can hopefully just watch the replay. I know this is streaming as well. Or you can also select these little training buttons at the top right-hand corner. We actually have videos for all of our tools. And so if you are a Helium10 user, or maybe you decide to become a Helium10 user, you don't have to say, oh my gosh, what are all the things Shivali taught me? I don't even remember half of them. That's okay. Don't worry about it. You guys can go in, watch one video, and implement that one strategy. And I recommend just kind of moving along. That's how I learned it too. When you are inside of products or keywords, these are going to be I always focus on these when you're doing product research because products will output product listing pages to you. What do I mean? Let's see. I'm pretty sure I have a listing up. Okay, so this is a listing page. I know it's very inauspicious to look at a coffin-shaped thing. It's unfortunately what we sell at Helium10, all right? So this is a product listing page. This might be an example, like this URL might be an example of what is outputted for results if I were to go in and say, hey, I'm looking for a listing where maybe there's no more than 4 images, and it's generating 3,000 in revenue. I'm on the US marketplace, so this is okay. But for India, this might be different. Don't go based off the numbers I'm demoing. Okay, I stress this so much. Opportunity is really, really relative. Just because maybe you're not seeing 3,000 in India doesn't mean it's not a good opportunity. You really have to go into qualifying that product. So why did I put in 4 max for number of images? Just as an example is, well, if a listing like the one we were looking at, nope, where did it go? It's behind my little notification here. There we go. Okay, so here, if I only had 4 images, but I know this is a listing that's generating lots of revenue, then, well, if I go in and I optimize it even more, then I would be able to, in theory, capitalize and get even more revenue, right? That's kind of the philosophy behind this. I see somebody, Mohit says, can you switch to India site? Sure. So here you can go in, right here it says Amazon India. I haven't ran the search in quite some time, but let's see. So here, if I said, let's say a max of 4 images, and maybe for parent level revenue, you guys want to put in something. Let's go ahead and add some categories. Do you guys want to give me some categories? I do have quite a bit to cover, so let's get some quick heavy hitting topics. Skincare. Okay, what is that? Beauty. Let's
guess
do
home.
health, personal care. Pet. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. So we've got a few. I heard home unmuted. So let's just do a search here. This is in products. Okay, and as you can see, some of the parent level sales are 0. So I can actually go in and edit my filters if I want. If I wanted to add in some other things, I could, or I can just have a look at what's going on in this space. As you can see, this is a listing page. Let's open this up. And we see this is currently unavailable. Okay. I didn't actually put in a parent level revenue. Let's go in and say maybe I want to see that it's doing. I haven't actually looked at the what's a good number we want to put in.
Parent
Let's
level
just do
revenue. Yeah,
do
I
what?
guess 100K because that's in
100K?
INR. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. There we go. We've got 1 of 25 of 500 items. And as you can see, really great parent level revenue. You've got ASIN level revenue. And let's check out some of these listings, yes? So you got this plastic drawer organizer, self-stranded, rectangular, absolutely terrible reviews. You can go in and refine, but if this is doing with terrible reviews, really great numbers, how many of you guys think you can go in and, yes, this is monthly averages. You can go in and actually create a better listing, way better reviews, and actually make way more money? Most of us, right? Yes, the revenue numbers are accurate on Helium10. We actually got these numbers when Amazon itself made the algorithm public. We also pull from their API. So they are very accurate. We've also done case studies about this, by the way, guys, comparing it to other software systems. So you can check it and trust it. But yeah, product listing pages, as you can see, really fast. Wasn't that super fast? Now we're looking at things that fit our criteria. But unless you were on Amazon, you were doing this manually, you would have to go through individually, go through categories, subcategories. I've done it, guys. It sucks. It really, really sucks. So much easier. I personally like doing keyword research underneath the keywords tab solely because it helps you understand the marketplace a whole lot better. Right? Same thing, you can go in and say, hey, I want to find something in India. Then you can toggle over to India. If you're selling in US, keep it at US. You can put in a certain number of search volume. Maybe I'm looking for something that's a little bit more niche down or doesn't have many searches. Maybe I am trying to find something that's going to pick up soon. Really up to you. I always do a handful of searches when I'm trying to launch a brand new product. You can put in your monthly revenue. You can do review count. Is most of this self-explanatory filter-wise? Hopefully, yes. It is exactly what it sounds like. I will say, when you're going in and you're looking at the keywords tab, something that is really exclusive to Helium10, which I love looking for profitable products, is these bottom 3, where it says competitor revenue, competitor reviews, and competitor ratings. This is going to tell me what's going on with the top 10 organic rankings, meaning of the top 10 placements, when I am, say, on, let's see, I'm pretty sure I have a search term pulled up. Cool. So here, if I were looking at this, you've got these sponsored tags. This is going to be your ads. These are the people that are running ads, not those positions. You've got position 1, position 2, 3, 4, 5. What is going on in those top 10? If I went back into black box, I might want to say, hey, a minimum of 2 of these are making more than 2,500 in revenue, all right? Or competitor reviews, you might say, I want to find the ones where there's less than 150 reviews, at least 2 of them in the top 10, okay? So this, if you clicked search, would showcase to you where there might be opportunity in the top 10 organic placements for you to go in there, because guess what? You're going to have 0 reviews unless you're doing Vine ahead of time, which is now an option. You guys can go in and get Vine reviews before you're actually up and selling, which is really, really cool. But that still, you might end up having less than 100, you will have less than 150 reviews. So you want to be able to stack up with your competitors. And if we're looking at a market and there's already lower amount of reviews and they're still generating sales, then we like to say, hey, that could be me. Make sense? Everybody still with me here? Hopefully
Yes.
this is an okay pace for you guys. Cool. So really, really broad in sense of the amount of filters here. Let's see here. I'm
Shivani,
just
let's
gonna
do
check my
one
chat.
thing.
Yes.
Let's take an example for the US markets as well, a US product, because
Mm-hmm.
majority of the audience over here are looking into the US products and US markets, US and Canadian markets.
Cool. Okay. So the person who asked me for Indian marketplace, hopefully that makes sense on how you can toggle over. Everything I'm talking about on this applies for Indian market as well. Okay. It's not that different. You're just gonna, for all of our tools, toggle down, find India or find whichever marketplace you're selling on, and same exact philosophy. So let's going back to US, it's pretty similar. All right. But here you might have a higher search volume because it's the number one marketplace for selling on Amazon or for purchasing on Amazon. Everybody and their mom shops on Amazon here. Like, I very rarely go into a brick and mortar. I just order everything to my house. So here you've got 3,000 minimum for search volume. I still recommend using these bottom three. Can anybody tell me in the chat, why is word count a filter? Can anybody tell me in the chat here? Word count is another filter I like to use, especially if you're selling in the US marketplace, because there's so many terms. And if I were to go in and type in something like office, do I really know what I'm looking for? No, I like that you're active, Yashna. One word products may be too broad. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Most of us don't know what the heck we're looking for if you're typing in office, kitchen, dress. It's good to have specificity. Correct. Yeah. That is where people know what they're looking for. And that means that if you are at the top of a search term where people are very, very hyper descriptive, then they're more likely to purchase something. For example, I said we sell the coffin shelf at Helium10. If I were to type in shelf, or if I typed in bookcase, and I was looking for this product, I might not be so happy with the results. But if I go in and I type in black coffin shelf or black coffin bookshelf, whatever, then all of a sudden I know what I'm looking for. And the moment I see that product, I'm going to purchase it. The intent to purchase is a lot higher. And that's what we're really looking for. So I recommend using things like word count. I recommend using these bottom three. Title density is interesting because when you're trying to qualify a product, you're looking for what the competition pool looks like, whether you can generate revenue from it, what sort of image stack they have. Can you build better image stacks? And are there a handful of keywords that you would be able to capitalize on the demand that already exists in the market? You're not trying to reinvent or like create a brand new wheel. You're just trying to make it a little bit better on what exists already. Make sense? Okay, so title density is going to be how many products on page one have that key term inside of the title. Meaning, say, I'm just going to run a really quick example and then we'll move on to the next tool here. Let's go back into health and home and kitchen for the sake of this example. Let's go back into revenue here. Let's go into 250. Title density, let's say minimum or max of 4. Okay. Again, random numbers. I genuinely running the search for the first time, seeing it with you. Okay. Here we've got 200 plus keywords found. You have this whitening toothpaste. This is obviously a brand. You've got Immuno 150. You've got Soapamy toilet scrubber kit. Lots of different branded things going on. You can look for things that aren't branded. You can also just open this up and look at it. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. I would recommend clicking the graph, especially if you want to build a branch long term. Okay, and make sure that it's something that's evergreen, or if you want to capitalize on seasonality, that's also an option here. As you can see, really great search volume. It's held pretty steady for this brand. They're doing insane amounts of revenue per month. Okay, and remember, guys, you don't necessarily have to have this sort of revenue. You can even launch 2, 3 products, 8, 9 products, whatever the case may be, even with being the second or third most clicked on a page or fifth most clicked on a page, you can still generate really great amounts of profit with that. Okay. So this is hopefully has given you insight in how you can take criteria and find something profitable that already has demand. Okay, it's got a great competition pool. That's why we use these bottom filters here. We looked at title density because we want to rank at the very top of a page. Title density, if there's only, oh yeah, that's why we brought this up. Okay, so title density, you've got 2 right here. This means only 2 products on page 1 have this exact search term in the title. Now, this is a branded thing, so let's just pretend for the sake of this example, I'm doing this really fast. Celery juice fiber gummies was the search term. If that's exactly what I'm selling, I could go in, put that as and be the third product to do it on that search term page. I'll rank for it a whole lot faster, meaning I don't have to spend as much in my ads to be able to actually rank and capitalize on the traffic that's already there and hopefully convert. Okay. So title density is also an interesting thing to look at. Once you've got some ideas open, which by the way, you can just click this 3 dots and click view on Amazon. All these numbers, like I said, they're kind of self-explanatory. If you don't know what something means, just hover over the little question mark icon. It'll give you a brief summary as well. You can go in and check out, let's say let's actually go back and open one up. Okay, so you'll just click view on Amazon. It'll take you into the search term page. And then you'll be able to use the Chrome extension, which if you don't have it, you'll click the Chrome extension and go into X-ray, and you'll be able to see all of the revenue data for all of your competitors in one place. Now, I know that there is a mix of different folks on this webinar, so I do want to move past product research into some of these other things that I talked about earlier in this presentation, which this is taking a while to load. So let's kind of just jump. Okay, never mind. I have been corrected. So here you have all the revenue data. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what happens when you're trying to pull together keywords and actually build out that listing. What you can do, I'm actually going to just jump into my handy dandy coffin shelf market just because I've got some things open for you. So you can go into filters and let's say filter down to find your most relevant stuff. This is just me quickly going through it. I'm going to sort by the parent level revenue here and say that this is my primary competitor. If you're already up and listed, you will want to select your ASIN first, okay? So you'll go in, select your ASIN or your main competitor's ASIN, and then anything else that you feel is actually your competitor. You can look at price buckets for this. Maybe somebody selling for twice as much price as you. Those are not your competitors. I always look at the price buckets too. Sometimes I'll even consider the dimensions because some folks who want something really big aren't the same people that want something really small. I've looked at an accordion market before. Somebody who wants a kid's accordion is not the same person that wants a massive professional accordion, right? Same thing applies here. So you can go in and then you'll want to run Cerebro if you want to take a look at the keywords, or you can run Listing Analyzer if you want to look at the image stack. Let's jump into both here and then I'll show you a simplified way that you can do your keyword research. Here I've got Listing Analyzer. I'll want to click Media Comparison. So remember guys, when I went in and I selected all these, it automatically pulls the data, but not only does it do that, it actually pulls the image stack. This is something I also like to do during product research and also later on when I'm trying to optimize my listings. Here you can go in and take a look at what's going on image by image. Do they all have a dimensions thing? All of these are black and brown. Maybe I want to go in and actually create something that stands out. Maybe I want it to be in pink, which we did. We went out and we launched a pink coffin shelf. So something that just is very, very different and will draw your click-through rate to be way higher and hopefully even your conversions. You might look through this and notice that one of your competitors is doing more sales than you. What's going on with their listing? You can take a look at their image stack through this. You can alternatively go through Cerebro. That was the other button we were looking at right here, run Cerebro. And this is going to pull all the keywords. This comes directly from Amazon, guys. I'm not making this up. This comes from organic, from paid, and from Amazon recommended. This is again built on the algorithm. This is exactly what Amazon is saying or finding or thinking is relevant for your products. Meaning, we have done a case study before where the Amazon recommended rank for our primary search term for the coffin shelf was way, way, way lower. Amazon didn't believe it was a relevant search term for our product, even though it was our primary search term we wanted to rank for. It was the one that had the best search volume, most relevant, and yet Amazon recommended rank was 15, 29, something much lower. And when we looked at our PPC, our ads, our campaigns that we were running, the impressions were not so hot. But when we went in and we did a search find by, so we went in and we typed that in, not to necessarily rank, but just to help Amazon tie the relevancy, which really only took 3 or 4 people typing that search term in and helping Amazon tie the relevancy for that product. After that, the Amazon recommended rank shot up to 1 or 2. And guess what happened to the impressions? Also all the way up. So you want to make sure that the money you are spending is going to end up being really, really worth it for you, right? So that is something else to look at is your Amazon recommended rank. But of course, that's not the only stuff. This is where you're finding your keywords. You might be like me, where you have all your competitors pulled in and you're finding 3,183 filtered keywords. You might think, Shivali, nobody has the space for that many keywords in your listing. I agree with you. So this is where all these filters come into play. I always say when you're building your listing, you want to mix. You want to have some top keywords, meaning your primary competitors are also utilizing, whether it be in their ads or in their listing. You want to use some opportunity keywords, which is not all of your competitors are using, but they are still relevant and have decent search volume. And then you want some adjacent supplementary keywords, meaning if you are selling a coffin shelf like us, you might be relevant for something that's also spooky themed, like a bat-shaped bath mat, which we also sell. But if we didn't, it is adjacent. So somebody who's interested in gothic decor year-round, some creepy things, they're probably going to be interested in our products. Same as if I'm interested in natural beauty skincare stuff, I'm probably also going to be interested in natural ingredient makeup or natural ingredient style clothing, right? Things that are 100% organic cotton. So kind of grouping by your customer persona, which AI can help you with if you're, looking for some ideas, or simply by looking around on Amazon. See what else people are buying. Take a look at your frequently bought together when you are on a listing page. What else are people buying? And those might be those products that you want to also show up for. So lots of different ways. I also, how many of you guys are already up and listed on Amazon? Let me know in the chat section, because I promise I'm getting to something for you. This time, me? Okay, amazing, awesome. Multiple brands, we love to see it. Have you guys used relative rank? And what about search query analyzer? Historical trends. Any of these sound familiar to you? If not, let's like quickly hit them, because those things I don't want to miss. You guys would definitely. Okay, you guys are using them. Oh, I love to see it. I love to see it. Okay, cool. So relative rank is going to be really useful, especially if you've got a bunch of competitors who are doing really great. You want to go in and see, hey, where am I maybe missing the mark a little bit? So relative rank, let's say I went in, and again, the reason it's so important you guys select your ASIN first, or you input your ASIN first if you're already up and listed, is because your relative rank is going to be, you guessed it, it's going to be showing you what your ranking is relative to your competitors. So relative to that first ASIN you selected. If I said my relative rank is a minimum of 3, okay, and I clicked apply, let's just see 3,183 filtered keywords. All of a sudden I've got 48 filtered keywords. I'm not saying these are the 48 you run with, okay? That's not at all what I'm saying. Remember what I said, mix of your top keywords, opportunity, and supplementary. So here, if I go all the way to the right-hand side, my relative rank is 5. Check this out. I have at least 4 competitors who are ranked higher than me. Now, imagine, which this is relevant for us, coffin-shaped bookshelf. Imagine my search volume was way higher than 165. Maybe even if I looked at the scoring here, check this out. If it was 438, okay, not maybe the highest search volume we've seen for all of our search terms, but this is pretty niche. How many of us want to really buy coffin-shaped bookshelf? I don't want to buy this. Like, unfortunately, I have bought it because we sell it, but like, it's really inauspicious. Like, mentally, I'm like, no. It proves the point. It's really, really niche. So maybe you're looking at a bunch of keywords, like 30 keywords, 50 keywords, and they all have got like 400, 500 search volume, and together it adds up to really great revenue for you. But you can go in and check this out, because if you were trying to rank for it now, 118 volume, it's probably going to be easier than, say, pretend this was like 2000, right? It's going to be way easier for you to rank for, and then you can just sustain that ranking. So going in and checking out what exactly is happening with my relative rank. Now, say that you want to up this. Your next question to me might be, Shivali, what do I even do here? Like, if I want to rank for this, you can take a look at your title density, but obviously if you've already got a main search term, it doesn't make sense. You're not going to put 15 keywords into your title. You can put it into your listing if you think it's important. I always say 15 to 20 key phrases. So find 15 to 20 of these that really are great search volume. They're super relevant. Mix of what your other competitors are doing, because if it's relevant for them, it's probably relevant for you, but not all of them, because you don't want to compete with all of your competitors for all of them, right? You want to find the ones that maybe their competitors aren't using. So a mix of that. And then you can also check out CPR number. What is CPR? CPR is how many products you have to sell over 8 days to rank on the top half of page one. Again, how many units you need to move over the course of 8 days to rank on the top half of page one. Meaning I can run an exact match campaign for coffin-shaped bookshelf, and then pause the campaign every time, every day for 8 days when I hit one sale in that campaign. That's it. Not a lot, but it does the job. And actually, we've tested this. Sometimes it doesn't even take more than 2-3 days, but we say 8 days to give you the best possible probability of staying at the top half of page one. Okay. So really cool things you can do here. Again, go ahead and watch the videos. The reason I say that is let's jump into Search Query Analyzer. I'm pretty sure I've run like way past my 35 minutes. I was like, I'm going to do this in 35. I'm not doing this in 35, but hopefully, I've been answering your questions in the chat. Ranjit says, why 8 days? It's just what we tested. We actually worked on this with a ranking agency, and they ended up testing it out. And like I said, sometimes it doesn't take 2 or 3 days, but we give it 8 days so you can really sustain the ranking for it. It's just what worked out with the products. Again, doesn't mean it's going to take fully 8 days. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, let's set some goals here. Let's just talk through why I think search query performance data is so freaking cool. If you're an established seller, you really, really, really want to listen to this. But even if you're just getting started, knowing this will blow your competitors out of the water when you do actually begin to utilize it. And also, let me just say, I was listening to a seller who does this every single week for his listings. Okay, he does this every week for his listings. And by doing exactly what I'm about to show you, he actually attributes over $100,000 in sales to this one strategy alone. Okay, one strategy alone changes the whole game. So what search query performance data is, it's pulling from search query performance data inside of Seller Central. You might say, oh, it's available in search query performance on Seller Central. Why would I do it here? Because on Seller Central, you have to pull reports for all of the weeks and then try to figure out what calculations are going on to do what I'm about to show you in minutes. And that's not to pitch you. I'm legitimately like, it's really frustrating to do it report by report. So just, I get really excited about this. Here you can go in, type in or select month, okay? And then you can select up to a year's worth of time. These are all the keywords that Amazon is showcasing as having really great search volume and performance associated to it. Here you can select your ASIN, and I've selected this bat-shaped bath mat. I've gone ahead and clicked apply filters. And what I'm going to look for is actually going to be my outperforming converters. What does that mean? This means that I'm going to scroll all the way to the right side here. Okay, so here, this is what I'm looking at. My conversion rate is 50%. and the market's conversion rate is 8%. Okay. So this means any traffic that I'm getting to my listing is converting way better than any of the other competitors out there. Okay. Do I want more traffic? Yes, right? If I'm converting better than all of the other competitors in that niche, do I want more traffic? The answer is yes, right? So you guys will want to take a look at this and find, where am I actually getting purchases? Where is my conversion rate way better? Of course, with the conversion rate, that's just one photo, like one part of the story. You'll also want to take a look at your click-through rate, figure out what's going on with your impression share and your search volume. For example, here it says 30. Okay, that's like not the best search volume, I know, but pretend it was. Say it was 15,000 and you're converting better than all of the market. Wouldn't you want to capitalize on the search volume? I was just looking at a seller's search query performance data inside of Search Query Analyzer for him. And I saw that he had a search term like this that had really great search volume, okay? Really good search volume, great conversion share, and yet his organic rank was 109. Okay, 109 organic rank, no sponsored rank. He wasn't even running ads for it. And he was still converting. He was converting way better than the market. So wouldn't you want to get eyes on a search term like this that's giving you sales and get at the top of the page for something that you're seeing has great search volume that you are converting better for than your competitors? Yes, right? So it's really cool because now you can go in and optimize. The reason that guy I was telling you about got 100,000 in sales attributed to this one strategy is because he went in, he did this, he's finding words that have what I just told you, but no sponsored rank. And you can go in and adjust your strategy this way. Let's say the other side of this is low performing converters. Then this is where you're not doing so great. And if it is something that's relevant, bat decor for home, this may be too broad for a bat-shaped bath mat. But say that it was really specific and it is something that had great search volume and we wanted to capitalize on this. Well, that means I need to go visit my competitors. I need to figure out, why are other people getting more sales than me? And this is where we would go back into Cerebro or into our listing media comparison that I was showing you before and figure out, well, what's going on that's not leading, that's not converting people that are visiting my site. I'm just going to take like 3-4 minutes here and then pass it back because I think I'm probably hitting time or well over time. And so everybody with me here, yes? Conversion rate, outperforming converters. Then you've got low performing converters. You've also got sales generating keywords. This is where you're actually getting sales from. Guys, Amazon is telling you, you are making sales on these keywords. Why would you not utilize that? Like, make sure you guys are going and checking your sales generating keywords. Okay. So really, really cool stuff you can do here. There's so much more. You can check out how many purchases you have compared to the market. You can check out how many people are adding to cart versus the market. If you're doing really great on something, it shows you what you need to do with your strategy. I talked about this before, when we were kind of going through the common mistakes with my PowerPoint slides, but this is really where you guys can see it come to action and hopefully go and do this for your niche so you can leverage this stuff and actually generate money like that guy with 100K, because I think you can do it for your niche too. Okay. A couple things here that we'll just kind of close out with, I guess, because I talk too much and we haven't even covered like half the stuff. Actually, we covered most of it. Just a couple, I guess, let's do this high level. Okay. Let's just do a high level overview. So listing builder, which I've got open right here. This is where, after all of those keywords that you've looked at, the listings, for those of my friends on this call that maybe are looking for a profitable product or you're trying to optimize, you can go into listing builder and all the stuff I've been talking to you about, hey, search query performance sales keywords or your top keywords, your opportunity keywords, your historical top keywords. This I didn't even show you inside of Cerebro, but you can go into historical trend. If you guys are prepping for Prime Day, do this. Freaking do this. Go in and click historical trend and check out, for example, let's say this was my competitor product I'm looking at. I'm saying, hey, October, maybe this is what's going on. And then last year, they were really killing it during Prime Day. then I might want to go in and select this and then click compare months. And it'll show you all of the keywords that maybe you're not ranking for now, but you were ranking for last year. And you will want to put them into exact match campaigns or put them in your listing. So as Prime Day comes in a couple months or in a month, right, you guys will be at the top of your game. You'll already be ranking for those key terms. And that's historical trends. When you're inside a listing builder, it actually pulls that. So you can go in and say, hey, select all of these. And it's showing me where are all the keywords where me or my competitors have more than 1% conversion. So we are making sales on this, either us or our competitors. What are all the search query performance sales keywords for all of the months? So this is selecting a full year's time. For ABA, this can be a whole half year. You've got top keywords, opportunity keywords, and it'll actually pull it for you, guys. Okay? This is like saving you so much time. You get all the historical data. You'll be able to rank for things that people are searching for. And with Search Query Analyzer, you can adjust your ads with ads, which I will not be covering because we're wrapping it up, okay? But for ads, you guys can, if I can ever even find this, okay, here we go. Rules and automations, you can go into day parting and find all the ones where, all the campaigns where maybe actually 12 to 8 a.m., I'm not doing so great. I want to go in and set a day parting schedule maybe and say, hey, I'm getting 20 clicks and 0 sales, and I'm just throwing my money down the drain. Let's look at my performance campaigns. You guys will want to take way more time on this. Yeah, here we go. So you can say Monday from 12 to 8, I'm not making any sales, or too many clicks and no sales. You can pause the campaign. Maybe your impressions are low. You can increase your bid. So much you can do. You can set rules-based automation. Since I'm going to wrap it up here and stop screen sharing, but there are so many Serious Sellers podcast episodes where we've done entire master classes on this. If you guys want to look into how you can set rules-based automation, or if you want to, let's say, take all of your Amazon inventory and set it up on TikTok Shop. If you are selling in the US or German marketplace, then you can go in and actually have TikTok Shop pull from your Amazon inventory, which is at the FBA warehouses. So you don't have to figure out your fulfillment type. It'll literally pull from your Amazon stuff. And Helium 10 has tools that actually let you map your listings. It'll actually bulk convert the listings for you. It'll map your SKUs. And so every time somebody makes a purchase, it'll automatically pull for you. It's so cool. Like, you get to do it within minutes. And there's just so much that Helium 10 has, over 30 plus tools. You can tell, hopefully, that I get excited about this stuff because it helps you make money if you know how to use it well. So many sellers I talk to also, they say, oh, I use it just for keywords, or for my dashboard, that's all I look at. I'm like, no, oh my gosh, go in, use it. Use Helium 10. You have everything you need. There's a lot of the stuff that I covered today. Even if you implement one of those strategies, I promise you will add profit to the bottom line of your business. So yeah, with that, I don't know if there was any questions I didn't cover, but I'll pass it back to the host.
Thank you so much, Shivali, for covering all of that. That was pretty value packed. And I think there's a lot of actionable information here. We'll be passing out on this session to some of our active sellers as well. And I think they should be able to put this into action, and we might have case studies in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing.
Great. Do we have any questions, guys, that we might have missed? So people were asking about the AI assistant that is showing up on Helium 10 right now. Like, what's happening
Yes.
with that?
So we've got a lot of AI integrations. Obviously, it's all the waves. So we've got something called Product Launchpad, which again, I didn't go into, but you can go in and see a holistic view of what that product feasibility might look like. What's your differentiation factors? I think that's a really common mistake I didn't cover, but you want to make sure that whatever product you're looking at, there's a really great way that you can differentiate it. Because let's say 5 of us on this call are looking at the same product, you want to make sure that it stands up against the market. So maybe that's including a bonus, or it's including something that is not able to be duplicated. For me, that was a digital course. So my physical products come with digital aspects that no Chinese or Korean seller is going to be able to go in. And I say those because I know I've had conversations with those sellers who talk about, oh, there's a certain style of seller that's coming in and undercutting on price. So things like that just can't be duplicated is really useful. But we've got Product Launchpad for that, for Cerebro, for Listing Builder. Listing Builder now has Rufus, like a way that you can go in if you're on the Diamond plan specifically. Search Query Analyzer is also Diamond plan. So those of you who are not on Diamond plan, I do think it's worth considering because, like I said, it'll easily pay for your, if you're an established, it'll easily pay for your subscription in dividends. So yeah, with Diamond, you have unlimited searches for getting a listing together and making sure it's applicable to Rufus. That might not be the most relevant for you now. Maybe you're thinking, oh, well, like what I'm doing is working. Yeah, it's working, but I want it to work long term for you. And so making sure that your product listings are really relevant for large learning models, making sure they're going to show up with ChatGPT and with Claude and with, you're gonna want to do external marketing as well, but also inside of Amazon, you'll want to make sure that you're making it relevant. So Rufus is picking up, hey, what is this relevant for? Is this product for a party? Because people aren't typing in, oh, I want to buy this. They're also saying, oh, I want to, put together a party for my kids, if I had kids. But like, you get the point, right? Is it needs to paint a proper picture. So things like that we've got inside of Helium 10, and there's a lot of tools that are now coming out with AI integrations.
Understood. Pretty cool. I have one question because there's a new constraints that we have noticed on Amazon, and I'm sure your team might have noticed it as well. And if it's showing up on the US side or not, I need that clarity. So we used to obviously read a lot of reviews and use Helium 10 as well, but we also used to like manually read a lot of reviews on a listing, right? But what we have noticed is Amazon is not letting us read reviews beyond the page one now. So the pagination on the review itself has been now blocked by Amazon to some extent, even if you're doing it manually. So is that something that is showing up on that side as well? And are you guys facing any challenges in that direction also?
I actually don't think I'll be able to, because I want to be really honest. I don't think I'd be able to answer that question because I haven't actually used Review Insights recently. Like we just came out with Review Insights again. Amazon had actually pulled their accessibility. So
Yes,
nobody really
yes.
had eyes on Review Insights or for a while, even though it was a tool we used to have, and now we have it again. And we don't just have it for Amazon, we've got it for TikTok Shop as well. So you can go in and use Review Insights. But yeah, I would recommend just testing this with some products that exist on the market because I think they'll be able to answer your question right away just
Absolutely.
through the example. I'm sorry that's not like more helpful, but I also don't want to lie to you because I
Yeah.
have yet to like run Review Insights since we just came out with it some time ago.
Absolutely. We'll figure it out. Thank you so much for that. Great. Guys, do we have any more questions?
I think I saw a couple. Let me just close out here with a couple. Let's see. At what stage of Amazon journey should one look at investing in a Helium 10 subscription? Beginning. Like, not even if I didn't work at Helium 10, I would tell you that because I did it manually and it was for lack of a better word, a shit show. So just like save yourself some time and money. Like I said, it's way better to do it that way. You'll be able to get through stuff a whole lot faster and your money will be worth it because you're using historical data to actually predict what's going to come. During product discovery, how much weightage should one consider to number of units sold in last month by particular? Weightage as in the weight. Is that what you're referencing?
No, he's referencing to the fact that how important is it to look into
Okay.
that parameter?
Okay. It's risk tolerance really is what my risk tolerance is different from yours. So I always like to make sure that there's some sort of revenue being generated. I like to see that there's at least two sellers who are a little bit newer and still making money. Maybe they don't have the reviews to back it up. That's why I said those three filters at the bottom of Black Box are really special because you can't get that anywhere else. It shows you, are there newbie sellers who are still making money? And then also at least two that are a little bit more established because I obviously want to scale my brands, right? So going in and making sure that you're able to scale that. Having that as a base can give you better insight into whether you would generate revenue, which I assume profit is the whole reason you're going into business, right? So definitely consider it. It's not the only thing. Differentiation plays a factor. Demand, keywords, like we showed, plays a factor. How quickly you optimize and pivot plays a factor. So lots to kind of immerse together,
Right.
but it is one part of the picture to consider.
Absolutely. Can
Um,
we take Animesh's question? It's a good one.
Sure. Yes. Can we measure returns of an ASIN on Helium10? Yes. It actually pulls all that data for you from Amazon, from Seller Central. So when you're inside of the profits tool, you'll be able to see what your returns are.
All right. But is it possible to sort of navigate that data for other listings? I don't think so, right?
No, not for other listings, unfortunately. Yeah, not quite yet. Maybe someday. We can all hope.
I believe some people in the chats are also looking to start their journey through Helium10. So we have the plans as well. We can share that.
Yeah, definitely. And also, guys, I didn't mention before, but at the very top, it also says courses. Anytime you have a Helium10 plan, it actually provides a lot more specialized training as well. I think this team does a great job of educating you guys and keeping you up to date. So definitely follow them. But to add to that, you've got additional resources you can use in parallel.
Perfect.
Let's see. What's one specific strategy from Elite that gave you the high ROI? Yeah, the search query analyzer. That's like my all-time favorite. That's why I wanted to make sure I hit it.
Yeah, that's
because
super
those,
powerful.
yeah, it's really good. Another thing, I guess, just to throw kind of like a freebie out there is make sure your alerts are on. I've had a listing suppressed before for something I didn't even consider. I had my product on a white background and Amazon said it wasn't white, even though it was, and it suppressed my listing. And so you will want to make sure your alerts are on, not solely for that, because then you're losing money, right? Like you've got everything up, you're losing money because it's suppressed. But actually, let me see if I can just really quickly open it up. Maybe it's the reason I say it is because at the very top of alert, which you can find underneath business operations if you're on classic view for products, you'll be able to see this right here where it says products with size tier optimization suggestions. And if you click it, it's actually going to filter from the 154 products that are on this account. And it says for the coffin letterboard, if I hover over the eye, check this out. It says, we've identified an opportunity to optimize your FBA fulfillment costs by reducing length by 0.08 inches, guys. 0.08 inches. You could move size tiers and likely decrease the FBA fulfillment cost from 10.75 to 7 USD. That's $3.5. Imagine you're selling 10 units a day. Multiply that for a year. How much did you just make back? You might say, oh, it's not really making stuff back. Yeah, well, you were going to spend it. So you see, there's like a really simple strategy. Have the alerts on. Check the size tier optimization. If it's that simple, maybe you can work with your supplier and save some more money or make it back or add profit, right? Like however you want to look at it. So I think that's a really quick hitting strategy.
Yeah, that's a powerful piece of information.
All right, guys. I see one last question. Okay, last question I will hit. We have why product search in black box is limited to 500 only. Is there a limitation based on the plan we select? No. Actually, you want to go in and put in enough filters. If you see 500, you want to go back and refine the search because the point is not to see 500 searches. It's to go in and say, hey, these are all the things I'm looking for. And I'm now getting back maybe 60 as output because you have time to go through 60 different things that meet your criteria. That's the point of the filters, right? Is to get it down so it's manageable and it's already hitting all the things you're looking for. So 500 is actually more so it's only for our products tab inside of Black Box, the first tab we were looking at. And that was because our wholesalers the wholesale sellers were the ones that asked for more products being able to sift through them. That's why it says 500. But really, if you're on the keyword side, it's only 200. So it'll say 200 plus keywords found, and you can go in and refine the search and get it back down. Okay, I see that Abhishek's posted the exclusive plans. Guys, go take advantage. These are really great, like discounts for you guys. We don't always do these. So make sure you take advantage. I hope that I have shown you not to pitch you on Helium 10, but really shown you the value of using a tool like this. And if nothing else, at least you've learned a mindset of how to go about your Amazon selling journey. So you don't fail, you make it out, you are successful Amazon seller.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shivali, for hosting this session today.
Yeah, it was fun to be on. Sorry I didn't speak more Hindi. I like Hindi. I got to practice more Hindi, but I can't present in it, unfortunately. All
No
right,
worries.
take care, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Perfect. We can continue for, I believe in this case, not for long, but until 10:15, we can take some questions. In case you have any questions. Over here, Abhishek has dropped some of the links for Helium 10. So make sure that you copy them if you're not obviously signing up right away so that you do not lose them. These are very specific links which we can only share today. Generally, we share them with the internal team only. But yeah, in case you're not one of our consulting program members, you should absolutely copy them and keep it with yourself. Awesome. All right. I hope people got a lot of value. I think things were very powerful, especially the search query performance thing. So, what I kind of took away from that is people generally consider Diamond Plan to be pretty expensive, but then, it pays for itself when you use it correctly, right? And that is one important aspect that we definitely picked up today. Yeah, I think I can unmute you, Ratnadeep.
Yeah, hello Rishi.
Hi.
And hello all. Yeah, it's a nice session. Actually, presently I am in a product discovery stage.
Yes.
So, like a core method I have completed, and now I'm up to in a stage of buying a Helium 10. Right. So, what you suggest? Shall we go for a 1 year plan or monthly plan till we discover a product and launch it on Amazon?
No, I think, see, since you're already working with us, right? So,
Yeah.
for you, the yearly plan is going to be the most economically useful by any mathematics, right? Because you will need these features and tools way beyond launch. And one thing that you have exclusive access to and other people like Akhilesh and everybody who's working with us
Right.
is you can pause Helium 10 as long as you're a member of D4 Commerce, right?
Yes.
So even if you take it for a year, technically it will last longer. In case, let's say, we are sure that ऐसा जून जुलाई में यूज ही नहीं होगा तो हम उसको pause कर देंगे.
Oh, oh,
So it will, at the end of the day, the math will be the cheapest on the yearly plan.
oh, oh, got it.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
perfect. Akhilesh, how is it going on your side?
Yeah, it's okay. Very nice.
Great, awesome, man, awesome. When are we catching up again? कब बात होने वाली है?
बहुत जल्द.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
I guess I can just ask
We have
Abdul as well.
Animesh, Abdul.
All right, Animesh is here as well. Okay, nice. Abdul, how's it going?
Hi, Rishi. It's
Yes.
doing good. I'm at Trojan horse method of product discovery.
Got it. Perfect, amazing. I can see Yashna here. Yashna, have you already started e-commerce?
We've been selling over there for about a year, but been facing some challenges, and I was going to get it anyway. And it's just about time that your workshop came in.
Okay,
So
got it.
I just wanted to ask, like you mentioned about the pause right now. So does it
Yes.
work only if we go through your links that you've shared, or does it happen in Helium anyway?
Well, technically, I'll be transparent. That is available to the people who are consulting with us from the beginning,
Understood.
right? Because we have this backend B2B type with Helium 10, and therefore they address that for our paid members. But happy to chat about what's going on. Like, since when are you selling? You said 1 year, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're selling in the Western market,
Northern.
as in India or US?
Yeah. India.
In India right now. Okay,
Uh,
got it. Perfect. What category are you into?
Health and wellness. We've got gut, sleep, skin supplements.
That
Okay,
for more
wonderful. We
information,
just went
Yeah,
live with.
Abhishek
हाँ,
से कई बार बात हुई है.
yes. So
Okay.
Yashna is one of our mentees since December 23.
Oh, it's
Workshop जो
that
वो host
brand.
कर देते
Got
हैं
it, got
हाँ.
it. Acha,
Yes.
acha. Got it. ठीक है, fine. Yes, so then we are already connected, right? You can pause
Yeah.
it then in that case. Yeah,
Okay.
nice.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Any other questions you have? Helium10 alternatives, free tools, guys. मतलब I don't know the name of this person, but देखो free alternative कोई है नहीं ऐसा जो comparable है. Free information तो सीधा Amazon भी दे देता है. राइट अमेजोन में आपको बीएसआर दिख रहा है, आपको सेल्स दिख रहा है, आपको रेटिंग्स रिव्यू दिख रहे हैं. यू कैन ऑब्वियसली प्रखर, या so प्रखर you can obviously see some of that information, but you'll never see insights, because for the insights you need the backend data, and the backend data is technically coming to tools like Helium10 and other competitors. All of them are paid, right? So there isn't like a comparable free solution, and we cannot build something like that right away. Like, even if you can code, you cannot build something like that right away. It's going to be very complicated. So that is why we use it. And this is just, you can say, an accelerator in a way. Like, you use the tool and you are able to get to decisions faster, and then you can figure out कि अच्छा आगे बढ़े और time लगाएं कि नहीं लगाएं. Right? So yeah, nothing on the same level. Even if you ask AI, I don't think something will pop up which will match the Helium10 features. All right. Cool. How many of you here are absolutely clear कि अभी 2026 में business launch होगा? 2026 लिखना है यहाँ पे. मतलब, in your case, you are ready to launch a e-commerce business, including the people who are not working with us. जो काम कर रहे हैं उनको तो करना ही है भाई. ठीक है, उसमें ऑप्शन नहीं है. So yeah, okay, got it. All right, nice. So a lot of you are interested in and clear about the fact that you have to launch a business in 2026. It is the first month of the new financial year, guys. Technically, you're on the new year right now. So make sure that you do things correctly. Take as much as help possible. If you're in the program, then you're already connected with me. If you're not in the program, you can at least do a one-off session with me if that is what you will find useful, right? My goal here with D4 Commerce and the entire team at D4 Commerce, our goal is to make people at least operate with confidence so that you can confidently use your capital, right? That is the primary goal, right? A lot of you can launch businesses yourself as well, but our goal is to just bring clarity and build this ecosystem so that the risk goes as low as possible. Okay, great. D4 Commerce. D4 Commerce. So D4 stands for Delta 4, guys. I need to start talking more about it maybe somewhere. D4 stands for Delta 4. Delta 4 is a concept which is not coined by me. Delta 4 is a concept coined by this person called Kunal Shah from Cred, right? You might know the app Cred. Ad देखा होगा Rahul Dravid का किसी दिन. So, so he has coined this concept wherein the idea is, if you do something which is 4 to 5 times better then whatever was already available to the people in the market, your solution will be the solution that people will stick with, and they will not go back to the older solution. That is the Delta 4 concept mean. I'll give you an example. If you remember, we did not, before the Uber or Ola era, आप कैब लेने के लिए नीचे जाके कैब बुलाते थे, right? Then Uber and Ola came, and then I don't think we've ever spent time, unless we are in a remote place, to go down and call a cab. वो तो खत्म हो गया ट्रेंड पूरा. So that's a Delta 4 solution. Uber and Ola are a Delta 4 solution, right? This principle can be applied to anything, whether you're delivering a service or building some other business parallelly and then or working with us. Our goal is to operate with that Delta 4 solution concept. And that is why we are trying to sort of do things correctly, improve the chances of, you can say, success 4 or more times for sure, right? And that is why it is Delta 4, and Delta 4 थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया था तो हमने D4 ब्रांड नेम बना दिया. ठीक है. Yeah, there is no mentorship cost because there is no mentorship to sell as such. We are operating like a consulting company. We were very operating very differently 2 years ago, but abhi 2025 second half se we have transformed into a consulting company. So we take applications, we connect with you, we try to figure out if it's a good journey, good match. If there is a confidence on both sides, only then there is any discussion about consulting, right? Um, in other words, mentorship slash consulting is not open for everybody, even if you're interested in it by default. It has to be like a skill match, a vibe match, an interest match, and then obviously needs to be capital available. Only then we can get into any consulting, because otherwise the business will not go live as we imagine. So yeah, in case you're interested, Abhishek, you can drop a link or something, and then people can get in touch with us later on.
So Harshit was part of our meetup. So actually, he was understanding our consulting program as a mentorship. So that's more
Acha,
of like consulting only. Yeah.
it's consulting now. UAE
Yes.
bank account, Amazon seller account. Yeah. Somebody was asking a question about UAE. Are you selling over there? Are you planning to sell in UAE? What is the question here? All right. Perfect, guys. Should we wrap, Abhishek?
Yeah, we should wrap about this. There is one thing, if somebody is interested in like starting with us or like starting risk free altogether, they can know more about Basecamp. So and
All
then
right,
we
I'll
can
just
wrap up.
quickly for few of the people here who are not in Basecamp, I'll just tell you about Basecamp real quickly. So, guys, some of you might have already completed it, so it's not news for you. But see, Basecamp basically एक 7 दिनों का e-commerce foundation program है, guys. If you have not signed up for any course, program, or anything, or if you've not yet got confidence or clarity, you need to start at Basecamp. Okay, this is not going to cost you much. I think it costs you less than a Domino's pizza. So what you need to do is you can just go here on indiaman.co/basecamp. We can drop a link later on to everybody. Fill up a form and get your access instantly. You can go through this today and tomorrow and finish up your foundational knowledge. Now, when you do that, first of all, there will be 10 missions here. Mission 1 से लेकर mission 10 तक यहाँ पे कुछ information है. In mission 7, you get a sense of product research. How do we start? We would not be using Helium 10 in a paid fashion in this Basecamp, so you don't have to worry about it. You can just start here and then warm up yourself. And when you have confidence, then you can consider moving ahead with us. There will be a link available inside Basecamp to talk to me directly once you've completed it. And you can do that. You can use that 15-minute session to talk to me directly once. And then we'll figure out if we can work together. Nijam, yeah. Which plan recommend beginner monthly year? Yeah, I think I've addressed the question here, but I think you don't need to go to the diamond plan right now for sure. ठीक है, you have to go with the platinum plan. उसके नीचे वाला जो plan है वो actually technically useless है, मतलब उसमें कुछ help नहीं होगी because limits बहुत होंगे तो speed कम हो जाएगा, and every day you'll have to wait for another day to sort of reset the clock, right? So it will not really be useful. So platinum plan is the baseline, and diamond plan is useful as we discussed as soon as you go live, right? So I think people who are working with us, I think you will anyways have an option to upgrade by paying the difference instead of paying the whole amount again. तो वो तो हम backend में figure out कर लेंगे, but I think you need to start with the platinum plan. I think the links that we have shared today will be valid for probably today. So just keep a copy of that and then get it done. All right, guys, if you need more help regarding Helium 10 sign up or anything, we are happy to help later on, and Abhishek will be in touch. Abhishek, I believe there is a group or something, right? Got it. So you can drop it over there and you can always DM Abhishek and take some help in case you get stuck somewhere. No, the review restriction thing is a problem on Amazon now. I haven't tested the review insights on Amazon myself, sorry, on Helium 10 myself. We were actually building our own tool, right, to do review analysis. That is currently parked right now. Matlab, we were working on it last week and then we had this problem. So we are trying to figure out like how to go beyond that. But apart from that, for anybody who's collaborating with us and working with us already, we are working on some tools which are complementing Helium 10, right? Which could help you, right? And obviously they will be complementary for everybody working with us. So some exciting tools would be, sort of shared with you soon once we start developing them properly. And yeah, that can also help you guys for sure. So अभी हम टेक सॉफ्टवेयर में घुस रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो कुछ आ रहा है धीरे 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 धीरे. All right. Yashna, if you need help with reviews, you're selling in the Indian market. US market के लिए we have a very good review growth solution now. But yeah, keep in touch since you're already in touch, right? All right, guys, that is it. We will be pausing here. People who are already working with us, make sure you connect with me and you stay connected later on. And yeah, let's make businesses go live. See you guys. Thank you so much.